Dearly loved friends, welcome to the first day of fasting, sending much love from Verona, Italy, and joining other Baha'i friends from all over the world who are enjoying the same fasting period. Each day during this wonderful fasting month, a new story will be presented specifically dedicated to an example of a quality that a teacher has manifested during his lifetime. Each day will be composed of 3 sections: a quotation, a story, and a song. So won't you join us together as we glide through the atmosphere of such wonderful and inspiring stories, real stories of real people, one might say our spiritual ancestors. The quality for this first day of the fast is detachment. It came immediately into my mind the story of a young girl in Los Angeles many years ago who for the first time experienced this quality, although at the time she was not aware. She was a new Baha'i. Just a few months after accepting the faith, she was attending a deepening course on the advent of divine justice. It was so inspiring that at a certain point she prayed within herself, "O Baha'u'llah, if you want me to go someplace, please let me know." A few minutes later there was a break, and as she was walking into the kitchen, a young Baha'i stopped her and said, "Oh, there you are. We need you in Hermosa Beach." Without hesitating, she said, "Okay, I'm coming." And within a very few days she moved to Hermosa Beach to assist with the teaching. And this was only the beginning of many more wonderful experiences. I would like to read you a quote on this theme. "Such must be the decree of your detachment, that into whatever city you enter to proclaim and teach the cause of God, you should in no wise expect either meat or reward from its people. Nay, when you depart out of that city, you should shake the dust from off your feet. As you have entered it pure and undefiled, so must you depart from that city. For verily I say, the Heavenly Father is ever with you and keeps watch over you. If you be faithful to him, he will assuredly deliver into your hands all the treasures of the earth and will exalt you above all the rulers and kings of the world." From the Bab's address to the Letters of the Living. And so now I leave you with the inspiring story of John Bosch.
Who was John David Bosch? He was an ordinary person who led an extraordinary life, a life marked by courage, determination, and an unyielding search for truth. John David Bosch was born in Switzerland in 1855. As a teenager, he embarked on a journey of learning and self-discovery, traveling through Germany, France, and Spain to master the art of winemaking. At 24, he set his sights on America, hoping to find a place where his passion and expertise could flourish. California became his home, and his skill did not go unnoticed. By 1899, he had overseen the construction and outfitting of the nation's largest and most advanced winery, a testament to his craftsmanship and leadership. At 46, John purchased a 45-acre section of the winery in Geyserville, where he built a home amid the vineyards. But despite his success, a deeper longing stirred within him. Material wealth and professional acclaim were not enough. He craved something greater, a sense of purpose, a spiritual path that could give his life lasting meaning. His search for truth was relentless, yet fulfillment seemed just out of reach. This search would become the defining journey of his life. One day in 1903, while returning home on a train, John noticed a familiar face, a woman engrossed in a book. Curious, he sat beside her and asked about it. Turning toward him with a thoughtful expression, she replied, "To hear of this is the greatest of privileges, but will be followed by the greatest obligations. You had better not know of it if you cannot follow it up." John picked up the book and began to read. With each page, a sense of clarity washed over him. This is exactly what I've been searching for, he thought. The missing link I've been longing to find. The book was Life and Teachings of Abbas Effendi by Myron H. Phelps. Seeing John's enthusiasm, the woman suggested he visit Mrs. Goodall in Oakland to learn more. Acting on her advice, John went to Mrs. Goodall's home one November afternoon. From that day forward, he became a regular attendee at Baha'i meetings, immersing himself in the teachings that resonated so deeply with his heart. He also formed a close friendship with Thornton Chase, the first Western Baha'i. Whenever Chase visited San Francisco, he would send a telegram to John. The two would meet for dinner and engage in deep discussions about the Baha'i faith, their conversations often lasting until the first light of dawn. In the early morning of May 29, 1905, John made his way to the winery office. Seated at his desk, he put pen to paper and wrote a letter to Abdul Baha. May my name be entered in the great book of this universal life. My watchword will be justice. Humbly thy servant. Over the years, Abdul Baha wrote many tablets to John Bosch, offering guidance, encouragement, and wisdom. In one tablet, written in 1910, Abdul Baha shared these words with him. According to the texts of the Book of Aqdas, both light and strong drinks are prohibited. The reason for this prohibition is that it leads the mind astray and is the cause of weakening the body. I hope thou mayest become exhilarated with the wine of the love of God. At the time he received this tablet, John was overseeing 40 men across 4 wineries. But slowly and deliberately, he began to shift his path. In obedience to the Baha'i teachings, he stepped away from the winemaking business, relinquishing his positions and turning his efforts toward the production of non-alcoholic grape juice. Then, in a remarkable turn of events, the U.S. Congress passed a law prohibiting the manufacture, sale, and transport of alcoholic beverages. What had once seemed like a personal sacrifice now appeared to be a profound act of foresight. When John learned that Abdul Baha was visiting America, he wasted no time. He boarded the first train eastward, filled with anticipation. By the next morning, he stood at the doors of the Hotel Ansonia in New York, where Abdul Baha had agreed to meet him. Reflecting on that unforgettable moment, John later recalled, "I had some questions to ask. When I saw him, I forgot everything. I was empty." During their conversation, Abdul Baha addressed all the unanswered questions that had lingered in John's heart. Foolishly, I said, "Oh, Abdul Baha, I came 3,000 miles to see you." He gave a good hearty laugh, and he said, "I came 8,000 miles to see you." John expressed his concerns that he wasn't doing enough to serve the Baha'i faith. He told Abdul Baha, "I am a foreigner, born in Switzerland, and have not the command of the English language. I would love to be a speaker. All I am doing is to give away pamphlets and as many books as are printed." But Abdul Baha told him, "You are doing well. With you it is not the movements of the lips, nor the tongue. With you it is the heart that speaks. With you it is silence that speaks and radiates." That morning, the believers had arranged to show Abdul Baha the city. When a vacant seat was spotted in his car, one of the attendants motioned for John to join them. As John approached the door, Abdul Baha reached out, clasped his hand firmly, and drew him inside, seating him at his right. Exhaustion was evident on Abdul Baha's face. As soon as he sat down, he gently rested his head on John's left shoulder. With a deep, heartfelt sigh, as if releasing the weight of the world, he closed his eyes and fell into a peaceful sleep. I was still as a mouse. I didn't want to move. I didn't want to wake him up. Abdul Baha bestowed upon John the name Nurani, meaning filled with light. John spent 3 weeks in the Master's presence before returning to California. During this time, he petitioned Abdul Baha to extend his journey to include a visit to California. Initially, Abdul Baha had no plans to visit California. However, after receiving heartfelt appeals from John and other believers in the region, he declared that if the friends demonstrated steadfastness in the covenant, he would come. Thornton Chase expressed his concerns to John, voicing doubts about whether the community was prepared to receive Abdul Baha. But John, filled with confidence and faith, replied, "I'm ready for him." John married his second wife, Louise, in San Francisco in 1914. Together, they resolved to travel to a part of the world where the Baha'i faith had not yet been established. Inspired by this goal, Louise began reading the Tablets of the Divine Plan by Abdul Baha. While reading the passage about Polynesia, she felt an inexplicable stirring. The next morning, she was awakened by a voice that clearly said, "Lodi, Lodi." Sitting up, she wondered, "What is this Lodi?" Intrigued, she and John looked up the word in an encyclopedia. They discovered Loti referred to the marriage of Lodi, a romantic tale about a love affair with an exotic Tahitian girl. Shortly after this experience, Louise traveled to Green Acre. While waiting for lunch one day, she noticed a small book on a table. To her astonishment, it was The Marriage of Lodi. Louise took this as a sign, and she and John decided to leave San Francisco for Tahiti, even though they knew no one there. Their journey marked the opening of Tahiti and the South Pacific Islands to the Baha'i faith. Unfortunately, their time in Tahiti lasted only 5 months. In the aftermath of World War I, suspicion ran high in French Polynesia. Due to their surname, which sounded Germanic, they were mistakenly believed to be German spies. Rumors spread that they had come to Tahiti to incite rebellion among the natives against the French, forcing them to leave the island. About a year after their time in Tahiti, in 1921, John and Louise embarked on a teaching journey, traveling through France, Switzerland, Germany, and Italy, before arriving in Haifa on November 14, 1921. By then, Abdul Baha was unwell, though no one could have imagined that within a few days the master would pass away. In those final days, very few were allowed to visit him. Yet to John, Abdul Baha sent a personal message: "Bosch is permitted. Abbas." John became the last Westerner to meet with the master. What John could not have foreseen was the profound honor that awaited him. He was granted the sacred privilege of assisting in placing the master's blessed body into his coffin and serving as one of the pallbearers who carried the casket up Mount Carmel to its final resting place in the mausoleum of the Bab. Once again, John bore the master upon his shoulder, this time in eternal farewell.